economic agenda of the Marcos administration, the Department of Education received the increased budget for the fiscal year 2023 from 631 billion in 2022. We now have 719 billion in 2023, making the education sector's percentage share of the total government appropriations within the recommended 15 to 20%.
With the Vice President and Secretary. All right, a big thanks to our partners.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and Secretary of the Department of Education, Honorable Sara Zimmerman Duterte.
Thank you. Please take your seats. To all our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Madayaw ug maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. To all our stakeholders, students, teachers, school administrators, government leaders, and partners, both local and international, thank you. And online, thank you for attending the 2023 International Day of Education. This year's theme, to invest in people, prioritize education, affirms that the new administration is on the right track. At the UN Transforming Education Summit in September last year, President Marcos announced our commitment to recover the learning losses from the pandemic and rebuild our education to be more inclusive, relevant, and resilient to future shocks and disruptions. Following the 8-point socio-economic agenda of the Marcos administration, the Department of Education received the increased budget for the fiscal year 2023 from 631 billion in 2022. We now have 719 billion in 2023, making the education sector's percentage share of the total government appropriations within the recommended 15 to 20%. I am confident that this is only the beginning of our renewed commitment to investing more in education and prioritizing the development of a future-ready workforce. With increased investments also comes the responsibility to invest equitably, efficiently, and innovatively, as Deped rolls out much-needed reforms in our basic education sector in the next 6 years. I enjoin our LGUs with significantly bigger stakes in the national budget to increase their education financing. With the implementation of Executive Order 138, LGUs should be able to support school-based and community-based programs such as remediation and enrichment activities. Critical areas of focus include addressing the crisis in foundational learning among our early grade learners, particularly in reading, numeracy, and science. The results of the 2018 Program for International Student Assessment, the 2019 Southeast Asia Primary Learning Metrics, and the World Bank findings on learning poverty in the Philippines inform us that our young learners are in dire need of support from all sectors. While I have called upon our librarians, literacy advocates, and LGUs to create innovative reading programs, parents, teachers, and the community have important roles to play to ensure that our early grade learners can read and have opportunities to develop their comprehension skills. In addition, we also need to make our education systems more resilient to any crisis. We are now seeing global and local disruptions such as adverse weather conditions and other public health emergencies upend our way of life at any moment and force communities to evacuate to safer grounds for days or weeks on end. As we teach our children and youth to be climate ready and ultimately become independent learners, it is important that schools and communities have systems that they can tap into to enable Filipino children and youth to access education during times of crisis. We are also fully committed to improving our learning environment to develop our learners' full potential. Thus, we have anchored our basic education development plan on the rights-based education framework. In November last year, we launched the Learners' Rights and Protection Office with its own website and hotline called the Learners Safe Contact Center Helpline. And as of December last year, our hotline has received 78 complaints. The second batch of our Child Protection Specialization course for focal persons in the central offices, regional offices, and schools division offices is ongoing. Our child protection specialists will in turn empower child protection committees in schools to protect our learners from abuse and support their overall well-being. We are pleased to say that the review of our senior high school program is underway. We hope that reforms can be introduced to better prepare our senior high school graduates for employment. Education is a driving force behind a country's growth and development. And with more than 30 million young people, the largest in our country's history, we are poised to benefit from this demographic dividend. However, Filipino youth are confronted by many issues, including drug addiction, violent extremism, climate change, human trafficking, gender equality, inclusion, and sustainable development, apart from all forms of abuse. These challenges are a call to collective action as we continuously raise awareness and find ways forward on concrete plans that will urgently address the concerns of young Filipinos in difficult circumstances. Let us work together to ensure that our education system empowers our young people to navigate life's challenges with 21st century skills, resilience, leadership, and strength of character as they join us in reshaping and rebuilding a better and stronger Philippines. As I close, I invite everyone to join us during the Basic Education Report 2023 to learn more about what is happening in the basic education in our country and what this administration and the presidency of Bongbong Marcos plans to do in the next 6 years. Shukran.
have the following to join our Vice President and Secretary in front: Attorney Sunshine Shari Fajarda, Undersecretary Epimacodin Singh III, Undersecretary Gina Gonong, Undersecretary Rev C. Escobedo, Undersecretary Annalyn Sevilla, Assistant Secretary Alma Torrio, Assistant Secretary G.H. Ambat,